I've been very fortunate over the years to have caught some great fish, and one thing that's really helped me catch those fish is PVA mesh. I use PVA mesh for a number of species, especially barbel on the rivers. You know, I love to have a bag full of goodies ready to go straight off the hook bait. I also use it for roach, bream, and when the situation suits, it's a very versatile product. There's situations to use PVA and there's situations where you won't. I like to use the PVA mesh when I'm not fishing at distance, when you want to drop a nice bag of bait around your hook bait in a specific area, usually margin fishing. Obviously, if you're fishing at distance and you're spomming, not so much then. It's fantastic for tench when fishing in the margins, as I mentioned, so that's one scenario where I will use it. It's a product that can be used with many different baits. Obviously, it's water soluble, but that means that oils don't actually dissolve it, so I like to soak it in oils and additives, which is great, but it can be used with maggots, boilies, corn, you name it, I've used it with PVA mesh. So one of the main situations where I would use PVA mesh is on the rivers fishing for barbel and chub. I like to use it not only to put bait around your hook bait, but also kick my hook link away from the lead. So it acts as, effectively, it acts as a parachute. And when that current grabs it, it's going to move your hook link through the water and it's going to keep that tension on it from the lead. It also helps for presentation, not just for putting feed where your hook bait is. It's also great for fishing on weedier bottoms where you don't want your bait to dive straight into it. Again, it acts as a parachute and it's going to drop that bait down nice and slow and present the bait more effectively. One of the places I've used PVA mesh to great effect has been on the River Medway, which is more my local river. It's a very slow moving river. You haven't got that pace, and that's what really helps in that situation with kicking the bait away from the lead. Sometimes on the bigger rivers where you've got a lot more flow, it's going to naturally do that through the current, but where you've got hardly any to no flow, that is essential. Almost every company out there does a PVA mesh, however it's really important that it's completely soluble. What I mean by that is you get a residue that sometimes stays on the end of the hook where you've actually put it onto the bag. I've used products in the past where you can physically smell the chemicals on the product, and you don't get none of that with this, which is obviously essential for presentation, because it's the last thing you want when you've got your bait, you put your nicely placed rig, and you could have a horrible snot on the end of it. It's a great product, it dissolves completely, it's just fantastic to use in the right situation. So we've just released the PVA mesh kit. It's 8 metres and the refill, and these are the 32mm, which is what I use for most of my fishing. In my opinion, 32mm is the most versatile width, and I use this for pretty much all of my fishing, whether it's barbel, roach, bream, or even tench. When it comes to PVA mesh, it's also very important that you have a very strong product. Although I use it at short range, I'm still casting, so you can be fishing up to sort of, 40 yards. It's sort of the max I like to fish it at. However, it can rip through the mesh and come off the hook and your bag goes everywhere. It's really important that the PVA mesh is strong, so it's not going to rip on the cast, and this product does that.